Folks, let me tell you about a $200,000 lie and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending June the 5th, 2024. A follower of this channel called me. He had just terminated his listing. Here's what happened. He was thinking of selling, and he called a realtor that advertises in his neighborhood, sends flyers out. He called the realtor, and they were discussing their price, and the realtor said, 1.5 million is what your home should sell for. So that's what they did. They listed the home about 1.5 million. 3 weeks went by. There was only 2 showings. One was a realtor who brought in a buyer, and the other one was the listing agent who brought in a buyer. Those were the only 2 showings. And there was one offer at the end of the 3 weeks, and it was from the listing agent himself who brought in the buyer. So the offer was from the buyer, not from the listing agent, but the listing agent represented the buyer and the seller and brought in an offer for $1.3 million. Now, there's a $200,000 difference there, but keep in mind, at the listing appointment, it's the listing agent that said 1.5 is what you should get from your house. The seller, happy, signs the listing agreement, and you're on the market. And just 3 weeks later, that same agent that said 1.5 is the number says, I have a buyer, here's 1.3 million. Now, anybody could come in with a lowball offer at any moment. That's not the listing agent's fault. But the listing agent was pressurizing the seller and trying to make the seller understand that this 1.3 is the new price of his house. That's the best they're going to do, and was putting pressure on the seller to actually accept the 1.3. I looked at it a little bit, at property, the neighborhood. I can't say that 1.3 is exactly the price that it should sell at, but 1.5 didn't seem realistic at all. Now, have we seen $200,000 price changes in 3 weeks? Or $200,000 off list price? Let me say it that way. Of course. It's more often on properties, though, priced much higher, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, a 200,000 or more price difference in a short period of time is kind of normal in those upper price points. But to do assuming a proper, thorough listing presentation and come up with a price of 1.5, and in just 3 weeks say, here, take the 1.3, and I can tell you the market really didn't change in that time, in that neighborhood, something seems off there. Well, that's what the seller thought, and the seller ended up terminating that listing, felt manipulated, felt cheated. What would you do if you were in that situation? How would you feel if you were the seller? Do you believe the listing agent that, hey, the market has changed and now 1.3 is the new number? Well, I can tell you this seller didn't feel like things had changed, just felt cheated and manipulated right from the beginning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Up here, there's a link to my calendar. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. We're looking at the Peel and Durham markets. We're focused on detached properties only, and we're going to be looking at Mississauga detached properties. We're going to be looking at Brampton, that's the green here, detached properties, and Durham. Now for Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. Just a quick observation here. The difference between average price in Durham and Mississauga, we're looking at $410,000. They're very different markets, very different price points. Keep in mind, we're only focused on detached properties right now. So we're going to start off with Mississauga. For week ending June the 5th, 48 detached properties were sold. 7 of those were at $2 million or more. I'm trying to spot a trend. I'm trying to tell you which way sales are going. Sales are trending up, trending down. They're just staying flat. You know, it's tough to see actually. 48, I would say, if we kind of average it out over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, maybe trending down a little bit, but it's really tough for me to give you an answer there. Maybe you look at this and you have your own opinion. Average prices, well, for week ending June the 5th, $1,584,000 is the average sold price of the 48 that sold. There's not too many times so far this year that we've been that high in average sold price. There's been 4 other times, and they've been recently within the last couple of months. Average sold price for a while now, if we come back earlier to the year, was trending up. Right now, it looks like it's bouncing up and down quite a bit. Let's look at one of the charts coming up with the 4-week moving average to see if we could spot a trend there. Compared to last year, 1,584, 7% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is also 7% lower. The dotted line is a 4-week moving average, and this kind of shows it a little bit more clear. Looks like average price and median price over the last 2 months is trending down slightly. It might be starting to pick up a little bit, but trending down. 48 were sold, 33, a third of those sold at list price or more. Listings down a little bit over the last few weeks, but active listings is climbing, still trending upwards. Months of inventory sitting at 3 months of inventory, right at the border of seller's market, balanced market. In most cases, you're going to experience a balanced market out there. So that's Mississauga. Let's look at Brampton. 46 detached properties were sold. I would say if we're looking back over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, it's about flat. It's about average, 46 selling. No property sold at $2 million or more. Average price down from the previous week to $1,133,000. I think it's pretty clear that average prices are trending down in Brampton. Compared to last year, 1,133 is 8% lower year over year. The median price is also 8% lower. The dotted line makes it more clear that average prices, both average and median, are trending down. 46 were sold, 26% sold at list price or more. That percentage is trending down. Listings are up, so sales are flat or maybe trending down, but active listings and listings is increasing. Active listings is climbing. Months of inventory now sitting at 4 months of inventory. Months of inventory, it's pretty clear, is climbing. So pretty much right in the middle of a balanced market when it comes to Brampton detached properties. Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. 66 detached properties were sold. 1 of those was at $2 million or more. Average price sitting at $1,174,000. Little bit tougher to spot, but if I was to kind of put a line and say which way are prices overall trending, I would say prices are trending down in the Durham region. Compared to last year, 1,174 is 9% lower year over year. The median price is 8% lower. The dotted line kind of does show average prices and median prices trending down over the last 2-3 months. 66 were sold, 59% sold at list price or more. Now 59% is still somewhat high, but overall much lower than the 66, 69, 73%. So the percentage selling at list price or more is trending down. Listings are up, active listings are up, so the more properties available for sale are higher. Months of inventory sitting at 1.4 months of inventory. still a seller's market in Durham region. It's just not so aggressive as what we were seeing earlier in the year and in the past. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, we're going to experience a balanced market, still somewhat competitive in Durham. And a lot of that has to do with the price point. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.